Snyderverse fans have been getting screwed over for years now, and things just got a hell of a lot worse because after weeks of thinking Henry Cavill was returning as Superman and we'd see this amazing iteration of the character on screen again, it's now been announced not only is his time as our hero done, but they've already greenlit a new Superman movie, and DC and James Gunn are getting obliterated online over it. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So starting with this article by Cosmic Book News, it says Henry Cavill announces he is done with Superman as James Gunn is developing a new movie. Now I'm sure you've already heard all of this information because it has been trending on social media. I feel like everybody is talking about it, but yes, Henry Cavill has announced he is done with the Superman role as he recently had a meeting with the new co-heads of the DCEU, James Gunn and Peter Safran. He announced it on Instagram, and James Gunn even made his own announcement about developing a new Superman movie. So Henry said, "I just had a meeting with Gunn and Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes." Now, obviously, this is so heartbreaking because for years we have wanted Cavill back. We have begged, basically, for him to return as the character, even if it was in one more fully fledged movie. And when he showed up in Black Adam as the cameo, we all felt so excited because it wouldn't really make any sense to put him at the end of Black Adam if they weren't going to put him in another movie. So we all felt very hopeful for Cavill as Superman. It seemed like we were going to see this big return happen, and unfortunately, he has gotten screwed over yet again as this character because now he is not playing Superman again, which is heartbreaking for him and also fans. But James Gunn had the guts, the nerves, to announce a brand new Superman movie at the same time as dumping Cavill, which of course has gone terribly for him. Honestly, though, it's no surprise to see why this has gone so poorly for him. Does he really expect us to believe anything he says at this point? Just a few days ago, he was going on about how he really likes Henry Cavill and how Superman's a giant part of DC's future, and while that wasn't a lie, he misled us by tweeting those statements at the same time, making us think Cavill's Superman was part of his future plans when he sadly isn't. It was an extremely disingenuous move, and judging by the way he's talking about the new Superman movie, he doesn't really care about what fans actually want. He said, "Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the new year. Among those on the slate is Superman. In the initial stages, our story will be focusing on an earlier part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill." Now, of course, people want Henry Cavill. People are furious over this decision, and if you go on over to social media, it's been trending since this announcement happened, and as you can see on the Discussing Films tweet, it's got over 200,000 likes in, less than 12 hours, and looking at the comments, people are so incredibly upset. I have seen very few posts praising this decision. I get that there's a lot of people that really dislike the Snyderverse, but there are also millions of people who love these actors and their portrayals of the characters. And another thing that people are bringing up is the fact that they're getting rid of someone like Henry Cavill, who is a fan favorite, yet they're keeping people like Ezra and Amber, which makes zero sense. It's like they want controversy. But scrolling down, of course, they are getting just roasted online for this decision. Hey, did you hear about the stupid thing that just happened with the DCEU? Do you have the slightest idea how little that narrows it down? The MCU's 10th anniversary has Infinity War, which is the culmination of 18 films, and it gets universal acclaim and makes $2 billion, and also has Black Panther, which makes $1.3 billion. Universal acclaim and gets Marvel their first 3 Oscars. DCEU's 10th anniversary, and it's basically them killing it, which is so sad because I have loved DC characters for so long. I have always been quite a DC fangirl, but they have really killed the DCU over the past couple of years, and it's only getting worse at this point. I understand the new direction, but this is an awful decision. He just came back 2 months ago. You still could have gotten him to play the character somehow, and I agree. I feel like they could have made it work in some way, shape, or form, and it's like they just didn't even want to try. It's so sad, and it's such a bad time to be a Henry Cavill fan at this point because he just keeps getting screwed over. First, he was Superman, and then they decided we're just going to kind of push him under the rug. They weren't going to publicly say they weren't working with him anymore, but they also weren't going to cast him in anything. And then he went to The Witcher, and while he loved playing Geralt, unfortunately, the showrunners, the writers there didn't want to follow the source material that he loved so much, and he ended up kind of in between a rock and a hard place where he wanted to play the character and be part of that universe, but at the same time they weren't following the source material, and it kind of upset him. And then it seems like he left The Witcher to play Superman again because he had the green light to announce his return as Superman, and now he's gotten screwed over from his role as Superman yet again, and now he doesn't have The Witcher, so who knows what's going to happen. Obviously, there are plenty of franchises that he could be a part of. I mean, hell, there was even a rumor a couple of months ago that the creatives on House of the Dragon wanted to get him in to season 2 at least, which I think that if they still want to, they definitely have time because they don't start filming until April or right around there as far as we know. So they definitely have time to cast him still, and if they want Henry Cavill, now is the time. Get him on the project. I would love to see him as any Stark or Baratheon, and I think that he'd do a great job in that universe, but he is still part of some things like Enola Holmes, even though Enola Holmes is just not good. It's not entertaining. I personally have no interest in it. I'm glad that he's at least still part of something. Of course, the rumors about him playing James Bond have been swirling around again. Honestly, I will take him in anything at this point. I just really hope that Hollywood starts to appreciate him a little bit more. Pain, crying gifs. I got you, brother. Dwayne Johnson holding the DCEU, and then James Gunn pushing the DCEU down. We literally got him back 2 months ago, and now he's gone again. This was for nothing. As you can see, people are upset, people are furious, and James Gunn is single-handedly killing the DCEU at this point in any hype people have for the future. Only time will tell what will happen with the future of these characters and these stories, but it is looking rough as a Henry Cavill and also a DC fan at this point. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.